17 years after Cosmo's death and the disappearance from the Sonic franchise, Taismo is still extremely popular in the fandom. To this day, AMVs, fan art, and fanfiction of the couple are still going strong. I love Taismo, and based on my analytics, you guys do too. But why are we still infatuated with these two all these years later? Today, we're going to be exploring what makes their relationship not only functional, but one of the most beautiful in fiction. One of my pet peeves in fiction is love at first sight. Like, you really expect me to believe that Romeo and Juliet saw each other across the room and suddenly were willing to die for each other? Shakespeare, step off. These are the real star-crossed lovers. Tails and Cosmo don't fall in love right away. In fact, it takes 9 episodes for them to start interacting properly, and another 3 before they arguably start catching feelings. I like this. They start off as acquaintances, only interacting with each other when necessary. But when they're trapped in a cave together, just them, they truly start to learn about one another. This bond is a slow burn into romance that culminates in the final 2 episodes. Some may argue that episode 69, nice, forced them to fall in love when they fell in the Lake of Love together. I disagree. My interpretation of this scene is that the Lake of Love doesn't create forced romantic feelings out of nowhere, but rather brings those already existing feelings to the surface. This moment solidified to both of them that they were indeed head over heels. Their relationship builds at a near perfect pace, culminating in the utter storm that is Cosmo's death. Their feelings are on full display, finally! But before we get to see them rejoice in their love for one another, Cosmo dies, and this is utterly snatched away from them, and from the audience. But while their relationship is natural and progresses perfectly, that's only one piece of the golden puzzle. Tails and Cosmo are one of the most compatible fictional couples I've ever seen. They're both quite similar, kind-hearted, fun-loving sidekick-like characters who prefer to stay out of the spotlight. They're both smart and have valuable skills to bring to the team. But beyond that, they share a deeper connection. Cosmo's family was killed in the Meteorix fleet, leaving her orphaned. While Tails' past is a bit ambiguous in Sonic X, it's made clear that he's also an orphan, with no blood family to call his own. Tails and Cosmo were both ostracized, though in different ways. Tails was bullied viciously for his 2 tails and his interests, while Cosmo, being the last Cedrian and the youngest on the ship, was often lonely and failed to connect with her older clan. They're both odd ducks, with Cosmo being awkward and dreamy, and Tails being shy and mature for his age. As if this wasn't enough, they both have to deal with the Meteorix and their violent attempts to construct a Galaxial empire. Tails and Cosmo are both children of war, 2 gentle, compassionate kids who long to rid the universe of the violence that's become so normal to them. Their romance doesn't feel like a forced relationship, cultivated for cheap drama when Cosmo eventually dies. It's a beautiful love story between 2 children wise beyond their years, 2 children who discovered each other amidst the turmoil and tragedy of war. Many times in fiction, relationships are rather unnecessary and bring out the worst in both parties. Y'all can't tell me that Mordecai and CJ didn't drop like 3 tiers on the morality spectrum whenever they interacted. But Tails and Cosmo shine the brightest when they are together. Take episode 62, the cave episode, for example. Cosmo, who struggles with low self-esteem, feels guilty, thinking it's her fault that she and Tails are trapped in the cave. Throughout the episode, we see him lifting her up, listening to her, and praising her abilities. In episode 70, we see these roles reversed. After Sonic and Knuckles get hurt on the typhoon, Tails is overwhelmed by shame and experiences a mini panic attack. But Cosmo follows him and lets him know just how competent of a captain he really is. She calms him down and rebuilds his self-esteem, and it's quite beautiful. Tails and Cosmo both struggle with their self-worth, and you'd think it would bring their relationship down, but they know how to build each other up, and their encouragement comes from a place of not just sympathy, but empathy, as they themselves have struggled with self-esteem. Tails is shown to be more sure of himself than Cosmo. Aside from that moment in episode 70, he's akin to his adventure counterpart, who learned to stand out on his own and believe in himself and his abilities. After learning to hold his own, the next logical chapter in his arc is to help someone else find their way. And Cosmo is the perfect person for him to do so. She faces very similar struggles, and given their similar backstories, their relationship is built on compassion and understanding. Tails serves as a sort of mentor to Cosmo, but episode 70 shows that it's not a one-way street. Tails and Cosmo not only understand each other, they make each other better. Tails regains his confidence in his position as a leader in episode 70. And of course, in episode 77, Cosmo has learned to see within herself the same capabilities Tails does. While their story was cut short, they ultimately helped one another grow into the people they were at the end of the show, through encouragement and belief in one another. Sonic X is a flawed show, without a doubt, but one thing it exceeded in was telling an innocent yet beautiful love story between two ill-fated children. A story of tragedy and love, of encouragement and hope. When I was a child watching Sonic X, Taismo made me so happy. Their relationship was so pure and encouraging, and it made me excited for future relationships in my own life. It may seem trivial or silly, but entertainment can truly impact us in how we see the world. And such positive representation of romance is incredible. We love Taismo because they're organic and pure. In dire circumstances, in times of war and loss, they helped each other shine. And that's beautiful.